Now in this video we discussed about the properties of amino acids. Then as far as the amino acid, you know that in last video we were discussed about the amino acid. Amino acids are building blocks of proteins, and they are near about 20 amino acids are present in the one protein molecule, and all living organism contains these 20 amino acids commonly. Last time we were discussed about the amino acid and their nature and why these amino acids are different from each other according to the side chain composition. Here, as far as the properties of amino acids are considered, amino acids are having some physical properties and some chemical properties. As far as the amino acid properties are concerned, the first physical property of amino acid, that is, amino acids are colorless crystalline structures. Then as far as the amino acids are there, they are totally colorless and they are crystalline in nature. As far as the crystals are concerned, here sometimes amino acid crystals are needle-like. For example, in tyrosine type of amino acid, the crystals are needle-like, while in case of hexagonal cysteine type of amino acid, crystals are hexagonal in nature. Then as far as the second physical property of amino acid, there is a taste. The taste is the second physical property of amino acid, and generally amino acids are tasteless. They may be sometimes sweet, sometimes they are bitter and having a different taste. For example, if suppose amino acids are tasteless, the good example of that tasteless amino acid is the tyrosine. Sometimes amino acids are sweet in nature because proteins are having a sweet taste, and it is only due to the glycine and alanine. These are some classical example of sweet amino acids. And then sometimes you know that proteins are also having a bitter taste, and these amino acids are having bitter taste, which compose the protein molecule or polypeptide chain. The good example of bitter amino acid is the arginine. Arginine is the bitter type of amino acid. Alanine and glycine is the sweet amino acid, while tyrosine is the tasteless amino acid. That means as far as the physical properties, amino acids are colorless, sometimes they are crystalline, crystals may be needle-like, or sometimes they are hexagonal, and there are different examples are there. Then third physical property of amino acid, that is melting point. Generally amino acids are having a melting point 200 degrees centigrade or above 200 degrees centigrade, but as far as the amino acids are concerned, these amino acids are simply denatured above 200 degrees centigrade. That means melting point is simply responsible for denaturing of amino acids. You know that proteins are coagulate or amino acids are coagulate after some higher temperature, and due to that melting point is no doubt it is 200 degrees centigrade, but at that particular temperature amino acids are denatured. Then fourth property of amino acid is there. This amino acid property is called the solubility property, and this solubility property is concerned, amino acids are soluble in water and alcohol. That means amino acids are simply soluble in water and alcohol, but amino acids are insoluble in benzene and ether. That means amino acids are simply soluble in water and alcohol, but they are insoluble in benzene and ether. This is the fourth physical property of the amino acid. And the last physical property of amino acid is that some amino acids are absorbed ultraviolet rays. That means UV rays are absorbed by some amino acids, and these amino acids are simply a tryptophan is there, tyrosine is there, and histidine also there. That means histidine, tyrosine, tryptophan, such a type of amino acids simply absorbs the UV rays. These are some 5 physical properties of amino acid. First, that is color. Second, that is taste. Third, that is melting point. Fourth, solubility. And last, that is absorption of UV rays. These are the 5 physical properties of amino acid, and there are 2 important chemical properties of amino acids are there. The first property, very important property, and it is generally asked for the short note questions, and the property is simply called as amphoteric property, and generally in the exam it is simply asked that what is the meaning of amphoteric property. Amphoteric property means there are some amino acids, these amino acids are having a dual property. That means one single same amino acid simply showing two properties. That means one amino acid showing two properties, and the property is called as a amphoteric property. That means at the same time one amino acid shows two property, that is called as dual property, and these dual properties occur in the amino acid. These amino acids are called as amphoteric amino acids, and property is called as amphoteric property. At that time what happens here, if suppose this is the one amino acid, it is having CH2 at one side, that is amine group at one side and carboxylic group at second side, and this is the one normal amino acid, but this amino acid sometimes showing second property. At that time what happens, this hydrogen of this carboxylic group is simply dissociated from this acidic group, and this dissociated, that means separated hydrogen simply attached to the hydrogen of amine group. That means it is attached to the amine group and dissociate from the carboxylic group. At that time this amino acid becomes NH2 to NH3, and here is only the COO. That means hydrogen is dissociated from acidic group and it is attached to the amine group. At the same time this amino acid is showing a different property. That means the first amino acid is having NH2 carbon COOH, that is acidic group, but at the same time what happens, if suppose the dissociation of this amino acid hydrogen takes place, and if suppose this hydrogen is associated with the amine group, at that time this amino acid showing the second property, and due to that it is called as a dual property, and the scientific name of that property is the amphoteric property. This is about the one chemical property, important chemical property. And second property, chemical property is there, and it is according to the polarity of side chain. If suppose this is the side chain, that means R is the side chain of that amino acid, and this polarity of this amino acid simply shows two important chemical properties. If suppose these amino acids are polar, the polar amino acids are simply a hydrophilic. That means according to the polarity of amino acids may be hydrophilic or hydrophobic. If suppose amino acids are having polar amino acid, at that time it is a hydrophilic amino acid, and if suppose the non-polar amino acids are there, these non-polar amino acids are hydrophobic in nature. That means hydrophilic means it is a water-loving amino acid, it absorbs the water, and hydrophobic, that is water-hating amino acids, that means it hates the water, it cannot absorb the water. That means hydrophilic means water-absorbing, water-loving amino acids, and hydrophobic means a water-hating amino acids, and these two hydrophilic and hydrophobic properties are according to the polarity of side chain of the amino acid. That means simply polar amino acids are hydrophilic and non-polar amino acids are hydrophobic. Hydrophilic means the water-loving and hydrophobic means the water-hating amino acid. These are the totally properties of amino acid, and this particular point is important as far as the short note questions are there. There are 5 physical properties: color, taste, then melting point, solubility, and absorption of UV rays. These are the 5 physical properties, and 2 important chemical properties are there, that is amphoteric property and a polarity of amino acid. According to that, amino acids may be hydrophilic and hydrophobic.